First impressions, Final Space, series premiere. Let's roll. Space, the final frontier. You've probably heard this a million times before. Every year it seems like more and more movies are being released, telling of stories involving different dimensions or space travel or aliens or what have you, because what lies beyond Earth's atmosphere is one of the greatest scientific mysteries known to mankind. Just imagining what else could lie out there in the vast reaches of space is mind-blowing. What has become one of the most popular environments for the sci-fi genre has once again been chosen as the primary setting for a brand new TBS animated series created by popular YouTuber, comedian, and filmmaker Olin Rogers. Rogers, for those of you who may be unaware, rose to internet fame with his popular sketch comedy show on YouTube known as Balloon Shop. In those videos, he and his two friends would make simple yet effective and entertaining short sketches that were simply meant to give people a good laugh.
Burn it up! Yeah!
Oh, man.
Oh, you see that move? What was that? Teach me that. Oh, yes! Yeah, burn it! Oh, he's burning it up!
After Balloon Shop ended towards the end of 2010, Rogers decided to pursue filmmaking, as he felt he would be better off making movies in some format. He had created some music videos for some independent bands as well as sketch videos of his own during the early 2010s, until he decided to return to a certain cartoon of his and give it another shot. That's why the central focus of this video is going to shift over to the development of his brand new animated series made for TBS, Final Space. Final Space was originally created by Rogers in 2006 as a short cartoon that he had originally given the name Gary Space. It's definitely dated, I'll say that much, but considering this was made over a decade ago and he didn't have the same amount of experience at the time, it's understandable why it is the way it is. It's still better than anything I could probably animate if I'm being honest with you. He states that after the first 3 episodes of Gary Space that he had created, he let the series remain dormant on his YouTube channel for years and years without really doing much about it, at least somewhere until around 2015.
And then in 2015, like a thrift store Hollywood tycoon, I decided to reboot Gary Space into what is now Final Space. I said that pretty good, right? Right? How about you answer me?
And, sure enough, after contacting an animation studio and a few other people to help him out, Rogers was successful in creating the official animated pilot for Final Space, which he then uploaded to his YouTube channel and had received almost instant success. The pilot itself was, if you ask me, a very enjoyable and enticing watch. It starts with what seems like the end for Gary and his friends as the Lord Commander hones in on his wrecked spaceship to kill him once and for all so that he can rule the universe without further interruption. I found the pilot to be very well executed because it manages to show that it can tell a serious, dark narrative while keeping some cheery comedy thrown into the mix so that it isn't doom and gloom the entire way throughout.
You're in for it now, Gary.
The Bionic Sloth warlords. They found us.
Quick, let's get out of here.
According to Rogers, different companies and groups were instantly interested in seeing his project become a fully fledged animated series, and before he even knew it, he was off meeting with executives to pitch his idea and get this thing on the map. Sure enough, he was successful, and TBS ended up greenlighting Final Space into the series that it is today. There's currently a collection of videos on TBS's official YouTube channel going more in depth about the creation of Final Space, so I'd recommend watching those if you're even more curious to hear about Olin's adventure getting this series off the ground. So now, let's talk about the show itself. A synopsis found on the official website, aka tbs.com, reads as the following. Final Space is a serialized intergalactic space saga about an astronaut named Gary and his adorable planet-destroying friend, Mooncake. The series will follow their adventures as they embark on a quest to unlock the mystery of Final Space, the place where the entire universe ends. The series begins with the main character, named Gary, who is currently serving a sentence aboard a prisoner starship known as the Galaxy 1 after getting caught impersonating an Infinity Guard pilot as an attempt to woo this girl he saw at a bar. More on her in a minute or two. Every episode then proceeds to continue on where the last one left off, thus creating a continuous story that's going to require your dedication to watch from beginning to end. That's one of the advantages and simultaneous drawbacks to a serialized cartoon like this. If you're into other continuous narrative-driven shows like, say, Star Vs, for example, then you'll probably be a fan of this as well. However, if you're looking for one-off comedy episodes that you just want to watch for a laugh every once in a while, then this probably isn't going to be the show that will scratch that particular itch. But that's not to say Final Space is bad. Oh no, by all means, I think this is a good start to an animated space comedy such as this. And even then, I wouldn't necessarily call this a comedy show. The official website labels it as such, and while I do acknowledge that there are funny moments in here, don't get me wrong, I've noticed that it's actually telling a rather dark and sympathetic story that's meant to make you feel for the characters, Avocado especially. So now that I've mentioned the cast of characters, let's run through them all really quick since it's a rather small and contained group overall. Gary is an impetuous, lovable guy who just wants to have a fun time picking up space babes and going on space adventures in his spare time. He currently lives aboard a prisoner ship while serving his sentence for the aforementioned impersonation of an Infinity Guard pilot, alongside other robots which are meant to keep him company. The main AI unit aboard the ship, named Hugh and voiced by Tom Kenny, keeps Gary in line and watches over him so that he doesn't do anything stupid. Although, that doesn't seem to keep Gary from trying regardless.
A cookie? For me?
Yes, Gary. Take one. You displayed a quality I hadn't seen in you previously. Courage. Exemplary. You earned it.
And because I am the captain.
Cookie withdrawn.
There's also Avocado, who is introduced in the first episode as a bounty hunter serving the Lord Commander that is sent to retrieve specimen E-35-1 aboard Gary's ship. He starts as an antagonist sent to steal back the creature and potentially kill Gary in the process, but after Hugh and the other robots aboard the ship capture and take him prisoner, Gary warms up to him as a companion and begins traveling with him on space adventures together, as seen in the second and third episodes. Speaking of, Specimen E-35-1 is the squishy little green guy who may appear to be cute and pure at first, but is actually secretly a planet-destroying superweapon with the capability of wiping out an entire celestial body in the blink of an eye. As some of you can probably guess, Mooncake, as Gary ends up calling him after his pet caterpillar his father gave him when he was younger, is hands down my favorite character in the show. I've always been a fan of cute, innocent-looking things being these ultra super powerful weapons of mass destruction. I know I bring this up in a majority of my videos because I guess it's just what I'm known for at this point, but it's the same reason why I'm such a Powerpuff Girls fanatic. I love the irony and oxymoronic attributes of an idea such as this, and Mooncake falls into that same category when it comes to the sheer amount of power that this soft and cuddly green puffball contains. Mooncake's abilities are also the reason why the Lord Commander is hunting it down, for the creature has the capability to prevent him from dying, as established in the first couple of episodes. The Lord Commander is also up there as one of my favorite characters because he's such an interesting villain. He seems to be a very powerful creature of some kind that will stop at nothing to get his hands on Mooncake, and I can't help but root for him because of how invigorating his motive and personality is. Then again, he's also voiced by David Tennant, and I'm already a huge fan of his work, so there's that too. The only characters I really haven't found interesting so far are Kevin, which is a companion robot that is supposed to prevent Gary from going insane while he serves his sentence on the Galaxy 1, and Quinn, the badass commander in the Infinity Guard who I mentioned earlier that discovers a breach in time and space and sets off to get to the bottom of it. In all honesty, I'm sure that Quinn's character will develop as the rest of the season plays out, and for all I know, she could end up becoming one of my favorites as well, but the first 3 episodes haven't really done anything to win me over just yet. The thing that I like most about all of these guys is that they clearly have flaws. None of them are perfect, except for Mooncake, and that's what makes this ragtag bunch such an intriguing roster of characters. But to go back to the dark narrative aspect once again, that's really what holds my attention the most in this series. Both the good and the bad guys are struggling with their own issues, whether it be the fact that the Lord Commander is holding Avocado's son captive, or that the Lord Commander himself is dying and needs to find a way to ensure his own survival. Gary wants to keep Mooncake as safe as possible, and Quinn is frustrated with the Infinity Guard for not heeding her warning about the potential calamity that may soon occur. Everyone in this show, with the exception of Kevin, who seems to just be present for comic relief, has that sympathetic quality that makes me want to see them succeed. Avocado especially. I don't want to say too much about his son, seeing as this is a major component of the greater narrative that the show is trying to tell, but there are clearly a lot of things planned for him if the 3rd episode is anything to go off of. I find that most of the comedic moments, when they are there, tend to be hit more than miss.
Anything we think of becomes reality, okay?
Ooh, cookies!
No!
Hey, eat me! I'm delicious! I'm a cookie!
What? It's not like I'm a imagining murderous killing confections.
I'm gonna kill you.
Although a few jokes tend to fall flat here and there, so I wouldn't call it perfect. I like that the animation and designs haven't changed too drastically compared to the original pilot that was created a few years ago. In fact, the production quality on this series is what I would personally deem fantastic. I barely noticed a single animation error during my viewing and was awestruck at how smooth the characters moved on screen. One of my absolute favorite moments was during episode 3, in which Gary and Avocado are sent into this mind-boggling daze where anything they imagine comes to life.
Alert High Helper Hula, we have been most helpful.
It's moments like these that really make me want to see what other visual phenomenon Shadow Machine is capable of creating within Final Space. If that name sounds familiar at all, it's because Shadow Machine is also known for animating both Robot Chicken and BoJack Horseman. And no, they have no relation to me. If there is one thing that I would like to see more of in the show, however, it's action sequences. Given that this is a sci-fi space adventure, it kind of goes without saying that there is bound to be more intensive, exciting moments where characters are fighting with laser guns and telekinetic powers, and Final Space certainly has its fair share of that. This is especially prevalent in the third episode when Mooncake is busy taking down all of these space aliens in a giant coliseum, akin to the way most battles of that caliber tend to be fought, only for the Lord Commander to arrive at the last moment and attempt to capture Mooncake again once and for all. There are hints for the potential of some incredible fighting moments present here that I would really like to see more of. Considering that Mooncake has the power to destroy entire planets, there's no telling what this thing would do if it were caught in a fight with the all-powerful mind of the Lord Commander. Again, I've only seen the first 3 episodes, so I can't say what will happen in the rest of the season for sure. Guess I'll just have to keep my hopes up that there will be more of that as consecutive episodes air. So as with most first impressions videos, the ultimate question I have to ask myself is, would I recommend Final Space? Well, if you're interested in a serialized sci-fi space adventure story with lovable and interesting characters, then I say absolutely go for it. The first couple of episodes may not blow you away at first, but then again the chances for a show to do that tend to be rare to begin with. The only shows that have really shocked me with their premiere in recent times were Samurai Jack Season 5, which was to be expected, and Unikitty of all things. However, if you're looking for more goofy, wacky comedy that can be viewed in quick doses, then this may not be the show for you. You're going to want to dedicate yourself to this one if you plan on maximizing the enjoyment you get out of it. Final Space definitely has the potential to catch on with more and more people the way other serialized shows like Star Vs have, but I think that it's going to take a bit of time before anything like that happens. I see a lot of promise with the narrative that it is trying to tell. Most of the characters have a personality and end goal that seems to motivate them to see it through, and I honestly don't know who I want to root for. Whether it's Gary or Avocado or the Lord Commander, all of them have given me reasons why I want to see them succeed, so who knows how things are gonna play out. Like I said earlier, the show could definitely have become a very engaging and highly discussed cartoon if it continues to get better and better as it goes on. I anticipate that the show will continue to go up from here if episode 3 is any indication compared to the first 2, and I certainly haven't given up hope. In all honesty, I know I'm jumping the gun a bit here, but I would really like to see this show get more seasons if it's feasible. I know Rogers has gone out and stated that he has plenty more material to work with if the series were to continue, and I'm curious to know what else he has in store for us if it does get to move forward. I can tell there's still a lot more to go in this series. But what do you guys think of Final Space? Do you think it has the capability to take off? Anything you predict or hope might happen in future episodes? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Till next time, Shadowstreak signing off.
Move this hawk, pilot!
You can do this, Gary. Become a much smarter person now. Oh, my double crap!